Alrighty, folks, the field of battle, the Carrera, so to speak, the Carrera M4. I have a couple sets of different slotted starter kits, and I'm going to try this one because, well, frankly, why not? I know I will need to clear the crown gear in the back, and that's going to be an issue. So I want to get the smallest possible crown ring that I can. I also want the right bearings on the back and wheels, and there you go. We are going to try, this is going to be a step at a time. We're going to do this with the NSR rubber, which is already on here. We've already timed that with the car. We already know what's going on there. We're going to change what the rear end to this, hopefully, see if everything fits. We're gonna if things fit, then we're gonna put these tires on here, and then see how the change went, and then we're gonna try these tires, N22s from Slotted. I haven't been giving these a fair shake recently. I did forget maybe a bit that I had a couple packs of these, and these guys need to be tried because, you know, we need to make sure that we got the right rubber on there. Anyway, we're going to pop this guy open, take the rear axle out, and see if we can start fitting this and see what works and what doesn't. Just a little bit of a pro tip here. I cut myself all the time, and that basically is from being too kind of, I don't know, just in a hurry. I'm like very, very, very nice and tight. Yeah, I need to not be in a hurry when I do this kind of thing. So I got a brand new blade on here. These are blades that I got at the local, it's that Amazon return place. And I've gotten so many packages of these brand new blades. I got an extra knife. And what we're going to do, well, anyway, so, yeah, what you want to do is you always want to replace the blade before you start a project like this, because you're going to be cutting a lot. I'm just going to do kind of an easy, like a score around this. I'm just going to make small cuts, kind of one after another. Now, you're thinking to yourself, holy crap, you're cutting up a chassis you can't get a replacement for. Yes. Yes, I am. If worse comes to worse, I have other donors, don't I? I do. I got other cars from them, and if worse really comes to worse, I'm sure I could get a 3D chassis for this, but that's not the point. So here we go. So I made a couple scores there. You can see it. Made a couple scores here. I'm just going to keep scoring this until it comes out, and we're going to have a nice hole. Ha! Okie dokie. We are most of the way through this cutting. I know it's a scary thing, guys, but we'll get through it together. So what I've done is kind of started on the other side now, on the bottom side with where the diffusers are, the bottom of the chassis, and a lot of it is cut through now. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so it is. I did a score. I just kept on scoring, as you saw in the time lapse there, and then on either side of the hub here, the kind of the hub hump, the wheel or the crown gear hump, I did some scoring, and basically it's only held on by one kind of area now. That's the area kind of behind this magnet holder. We're going to score through that kind of through the side here, I guess. And if you can see that right there, there we go. I'm going to score through there a bunch of times and then snap it out. And then we'll clean it up and snap the all the work-ins together. All right, we're almost all the way through here. Didn't take that many cuts, actually. I could have just recorded all of it, but I didn't. So it's just kind of scored. And now I'm just going to kind of break the hub area. There you go. That's out. And that is a fairly clean cut. Not bad. So that should be it. I'm just good. Well, not it. What I'm going to do is, I like the cuts that I do to be cleaned up a little bit. I don't know why. It's completely unnecessary. But yeah, anyway. So you see what we've done here. We've made room for the crown gear, which is going to hang out the bottom here, which I am perfectly fine with because whatever. The top side is what I care about, not the bottom side. So we're going to clean this up and snap stuff together. Alrighty, we're going to test fit stuff here. Slide the axle through first. Put the crown. Come on. Oh, it's so late, guys, I'm telling you. There we are. Hey, there we are. Does it fit? It does. Success. There's plenty of clearance. Does it hit? Not really. If it's going to hit, no, it's not going to hit. There's plenty of room around it, actually. I'm going to clean up one little thing here. There's a tiny bit of plastic that's kind of near it, but it's just like a little bit of just a tiny piece of plastic. Okay, anyway. Yeah, so snap the motor in. Make sure that things center up and still don't hit. There we are. It's centered. It is free and clear. And as you can see, I didn't need to cut that much out, but frankly, all I did was cut out the whole kind of the hub, the crown, kind of the big bump under the chassis. That's really it. Just basically, if you want to score around that, you just keep cutting and cutting and cutting. And yeah, eventually it goes away like it should. We're going to set the crown here. This is a brass. Just try to center that up before it gets tight a little bit. Don't really need this to be too terribly tight. Spin that again, make sure it's spinning freely, and it is. And I've been talking to somebody online, and they said, well, what do you think about, different kind of gear ratios? And you really have to do timing to figure out what gear ratio is best on your track. If you're going to use the 26 like I'm using here, or the 28 like is there, you want to do timing to see that. I also go by kind of how it feels. This feels nice and smooth, and that has to do with kind of the pitch of the gears, the diameter of the gears, the mesh, all the good stuff. And we just kind of see how that all works together, and we go from there. That's how we do what we do. Now these have, there looks like there's some wheel bearings there, some thrust bearings. I don't think we really need those because this is a inline. So we're gonna not do these terribly tight, just to kind of get them on there, see how they look, see how they feel. I'm gonna drop the body on and see how it goes. Now these are the same wheels. I pulled these wheels out of here. Are they the same? It doesn't say. Probably. Yeah, these are the same. Yes, they're the same. Honestly, it really doesn't matter all that much. The big wheels, the 17s. And we're going to get a little grub screw here. It's a driver that I got years ago that Slot Car Corner used to sell. And get my name on it. That's pretty cool stuff right there. I promise you, folks. It is cool stuff. Okay. Again, we're just going to do this lightly tight. We're just, just a little tight. Okay. She feels good. Okay, cool. So now we're going to see how badly these stick out behind the, or outside of the body. Do they stick out? It looks like they may not even stick out. Oh, baby. Look at that. Hey, don't trap that wire out there, dumbass. Snap everything together. Not a big fan of everything snapping like that, but what are you gonna do? Okay, so yeah, we got a wiener here, guys. 17s. This is a mixture of the well, it's this kit that started, but the bearings are just far too large. So the regular slotted bearings out of this kit, the 07 kit, they fit perfectly. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this all back together, and I don't want to change the front just yet, or do I? You know what? I think we will change the front. No, we won't change the front. You know why? Because this seemed to roll pretty well. It does seem, when I'm looking at it here, I mean, there's a little bit of wobble to it, but really not much. And I do really like these wheels. And when the car was on my track before, she was nice and smooth. So we're just going to go with this. That's how we roll here. Going to use the stuff that we got. If we got the parts that seem to work, we're going to use those again, because why the hell not, right? Yeah, not a big fan of that wire being trapped under the axle. It may ride on top of the axle, but I'd rather it not be trapped underneath. So we're going to get this thing back together and then see where we go from there. Okay, I do get a lot of questions. Well, everybody gets a lot of questions online about this is the E200 motor. This is the stock Carrera motor. I'm just using that for this project so far because the motor is adequate for my track in the best sense of the word. It's a decent motor. And the circuit board on top, this is noise reduction, so it doesn't make interference on TVs and that sort of thing. So that's why it's there. It can be there, or you can take it off. I would suggest just leaving it, because if you're soldering, you might get the motor too hot and damage the motor. Anyway, you can leave it there. It's no big deal. Okay, we got the front axle back on. And as you can see, these are the stock, or these are the... Well, these are the stock NSR rubber tires from the McLaren. They fit perfectly on the slotted wheels. They're all basically the same hub size, which is super duper. And we got a really good fit here. We got plenty of room underneath. It's kind of hard to tell, but if I kind of tilt it, you can see there's just a millimeter or two of tire sticking down under the chassis. So we should be good. And yeah, I mean, basically, all that's left to do is put the body back on and then go do some test laps. And that's the end of this story, sort of. The first part of the story. We need to put some oil in there, but we'll do that. Okay, so one thing I did want to mention. The Carrera wheels, yeah, they're interesting. It's this new two-part design, the wheel hub, and then the face, I guess you'd say. One of the main problems with this is that the hub on the outside is probably scaled to be a I don't know what, 15 inch, or no, that would be a 17-inch wheel. I don't know, whatever it is. Then the inner hub is much lower. And yeah, it really shouldn't be. It should be the same height as the outside. And that would make getting replacement tires for it a breeze. And it would have cost Carrera nothing to think about this kind of in advance. The other thing, which is a lot unfortunate, is that these very nice wheel inserts, I mean, they could be cut down. I guess you could cut these down and put these in here. These would make some really awesome inserts. But this is far too large to go in there. So that is kind of unfortunate. But, I mean, basically what we have here is we got the car back together. Boy, this is looking really good. Now, all I did, you saw me do it, I just changed the rear axle. So we got a nice round wheels, concentric wheels. The tires are going to sit nice and flat. The gearing is going to be basically the same. although probably smoother because it's, well, smoother. And the motor is the same, and this car should pick up a little bit of time. We're going to go do that right now. Alrighty, guys. Just got to do this maybe a little more quietly than normal. Just doing this with my phone here late at night, and wanted to get this car on the track. The wheels are inside the body, just. They set up perfectly in there. I would like to get some inserts in there, but regardless, this looks pretty good. We're going to do a couple laps here on camera, just to give you my kind of thoughts. I'm not mic'd up, so forgive me if there's a little bit of background noise here. And then I'm going to do some timed laps and give you the result and see if it's picked up any speed from the Carrera wheels and tires and axle and gear. We got a little bit of chatter. Not sure why. Did we already crimp a tooth? We may have. We got to oil this and go from there. Okie dokie. So one thing that I forgot to do is check that the hub, the set screw for the hub, was not hitting the chassis. That was the thumping, clicking that you heard. I cut it out a little more and should be fine now. A couple more laps and we'll do some timers then. A little speed spit on here. I know you're enjoying listening to my refrigerator freezer, or my refreezer here in the garage in the background. Yeah, a lot smoother. We'll see if it's a lot faster. I'm going to do some time lapse now. Alrighty, guys, so we've done laps with this guy, and we got the times down to 5:09. Yes. An interesting thing, I switched out the NSR rubber for slotted, where are they? N22s. Now, these don't fit exactly. They could be wider for sure, but they're fresh tires. I did sand them, so we got a pretty good contact patch the whole way around. They're nice and round. They're nice and flat. The wheels are still inside the body because that's how I like to do. I'm sure that they could probably, well, I don't know if it'd be faster if they were outside the body, but I'm not going to do that. In any case, we've cut... since this car was a magnet car, we've cut a half a second of time around my track, off around my track. That's pretty good. The car is nice and fast. Well, I mean, it's fast-ish. It's smooth. It's very drivable. The guide feels really good. It doesn't feel like I need to change anything up front. I will pull the guide through so it's one continuous braid, but rather than two tabs. I don't think the car is going to get much faster. There's a lot of weight in this car. There's a lot of interior in this car that if I took that out, I'm sure it would be faster, but I'm not going to bother with that. This was just to show you kind of what you can do with a, you know, pretty standard Carrera car. I took out the magnets. I put on rubber tires on the back on the stock wheels, the NSR rubber, which do fit. They do crown, so you probably have to sand them a little bit or just kind of frankly deal with it. And then just to take this a step further, kind of the next step is to do the surgery that you see here and cut out the rear. So you can put a nice crown gear in there from Slotted, nice metal axle, metal wheels, everything's nice and concentric, nice and smooth. Probably the next step, if I was going to do this a little further, would be to do the front and make sure that we're getting all of the nice smoothness with the front of the car that we possibly can. But all in all, I mean, the car was really nice to start. It's gotten even better now. I really like it. I'm very happy that Carrera trusts me enough to send cars, and then I cut them apart. But this is a hobby, and frankly, they should expect folks to do what they want to with the cars and enjoy them as they see fit. And this is how I enjoy the hobby. I'm a fiddler. I'm a cutter. I like to chop things up and make them my own. In any case, thanks a lot, guys. There you go.